the teachers are a different breed. They like, I get emotional thinking about it, especially right now, I think. But I genuinely feel that they care about my kids. They're not just students in the school. They're not just It's not just a job. I think that they genuinely care about the well-being of my kids. They want my kids to not only thrive academically, but socially, emotionally, um, just in every aspect.
I'm Glenn Herbert, and I'm an editor with Our Kids. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading private schools to gain insights into their programs, culture, traditions, and leadership. This includes insights from parents, alumni, and administrators. This is the Our Kids Insider Perspective.
Well, when my son was young and we were trying to decide on a school, my husband and I disagreed as to whether or not we wanted private school or public school. I was leaning more towards public, he was leaning more towards private. Um, and I told him I would go and check out some schools, and I would have an open mind about it. So I went, saw a couple schools, and when I saw the Giles School, it really it felt very different for me, just almost immediately upon walking in. The building itself is quite unassuming. It's not a super fancy grounds. It's not something that people would be like, "Ooh, this looks like a fancy school." Just like a basic building. So I went in, and walking in, I felt the warmth and I felt the community. I sat in on the pre-K class and I observed it for a little while, and the teacher was just, I always say the best way that I can describe her was that she was like a mother. She was that perfect balance of affection and love and playing, and also, don't mess around. It's time to sit down. It's time to follow the rules. I just felt like she was like a mother, like she must have been their mother. So it really drew me to that. And then as I saw the rest of the school, I realized that it was a very small school, which was something that I was looking for. Small classrooms, small school in general, like overall. Because I find that a lot of the private schools, just like public school, I guess, your kids get lost. And I didn't want that for my kids. And over the years, this has been really proven to me when I see that that the teachers who don't teach my kids know my kids. Like they know, oh, they'll see me and they say, oh, by the way, he fell outside today. He's okay. We patched him up. He's fine. Like, and these are teachers who don't teach him or her. So that means a lot to me that everybody, it's a small community. It's very family oriented. I think it draws very like-minded people. So that's what got me. To me, it felt like a different type of private school. And everything that I was worried about within a private school, the Giles didn't have. Or at least when I went to go check it out, I realized that it didn't have. Well, in terms of school, I think they've thrived from day one. Kind of going back to the fact that it's very much a community. If there's any struggles, the teachers are right on top of it. Whether it's just like, he was having a bad day today. He was tired today. He wasn't feeling well today. Whatever it was, the teachers really take care of the kids. Like it's not just their teachers; they genuinely take care of the whole child. Um, but I think the most drastic thing that I noticed was with my daughter. She started at 3.5 years old, and before that, she used to go to just like a Montessori daycare, and she's a very, very shy person. And she's a lot better now, but she was almost, I think she probably had some level of social anxiety when she was younger. And to the point where when she was in the Montessori school, and she got her like evaluation, when it got to the section for her verbal skills, the teachers called me and they're like, we're concerned about her verbal skills. We don't think that she's developing where she needs to be. And this was because she wasn't talking. She wouldn't talk in school. And I knew this. Like I would drop her off she would stop talking. And so I actually showed the teachers videos of her speaking at home in two different languages, and they were floored. They're like, we've never heard her voice. So that's what she was like. And then when she went to the Giles, within, I think it was probably week 2, I was walking in to go pick her up, and I'm approaching her classroom, and I'm like, is that her? Because I could hear her voice. I'm like, that can't be her. And I get to the door, I look inside, and she's talking and singing. And I looked at the teacher, and she was like, she's like, just act cool, pretend like this is natural, it's all good. And I was just, to me, in that moment, I was like, there's something about this school and this teacher in particular who has brought this out in my daughter. And I was forever grateful to her. And from that moment on, every year she's gotten better and better. And now you probably wouldn't consider her a shy kid. Well, they probably say they're friends, which I guess they would say no matter what school they went to. But again, because it's such a small school, they've been with the same kids, give or take a couple who have come and gone, but the core group of kids, they've been with them since they were 3 years old. So they've grown with them, they continue to grow with them, and whether or not they're like best friends, you get along with some people more than you do with others. They all get along really well. There's just like camaraderie within the classrooms that I think because you don't have a choice, right? Like it's a small classroom, everybody has to get along, everybody has to be with each other. And to, I know that since we've been at home, that's what they want. They want to see their friends. They have Zoom meetings with their friends. So I would probably say that's the main thing for them. I'm gonna say the teachers. The teachers are a different breed. They like I get emotional thinking about it, especially right now, I think. But I genuinely feel that they care about my kids. They're not just students in the school. They're not just It's not just a job. I think that they genuinely care about the well-being of my kids. They want my kids to not only thrive academically, but socially, emotionally, um, just in every aspect. And throughout the years, as teachers have left and retired and things like that, when they make the announcements, I cry. I'm like, no, you can't go. Like you. I think that's why you pick a school, because you send your kids to school to learn, and who's teaching them is the teachers. And the teachers at Giles are quality teachers. I can't say enough about them, honestly. They know all of them. I remember a few years ago, my daughter had a bad fall in the playground, and she ended up with a scar. Oh, well, like a beginning of a scar. And there was a teacher who, I think she was my son's teacher at the time. And every time I saw her in the hallways, she said to me, "Listen, let me tell you, I have this lotion. It'll clear it right up." And every time she would see her, she'd be like, "Can I see? How are you doing? Oh my God, are you okay?" I didn't even know that she knew my daughter's name at that point because she was so much younger. They were like on different levels of the school. My daughter's class was on the bottom floor, and she taught at the top floor. And I was just like, wow, like this is a mother. This is what I was saying earlier about their mothers, like, or parents in general, that she genuinely cares that my daughter's okay and that she doesn't have a scar later in life. Like that meant a lot to me. Like it's things like that that I think you only get when you have this small community environment, where everybody knows each other. I think, well, right now they're doing some work on the grounds of the school, like the property, the building itself, doing renovations. I think that's important right now because I don't know, to be honest with you, how old the building is. Um, but I believe it was originally an office building. So they're doing a lot of work to make it more school-like, I guess, in terms of the playground area. I think that because it's a small property, I think maybe a little bit of upkeep there would be good. And I know that what I hear from people sometimes is that they wish there were more extracurriculars. Um, like things for the kids to do outside of the academics. But to be fair, like as I say that, I know that every year they offer a ton of extracurriculars, and people just don't sign up. So they end up getting canceled. So if that happens, I don't know if that's the school's fault. I think probably the most surprising thing is how happy I am with a private school, because I was very hesitant about private school. Um, and as the years have gone by, my husband kind of throws it in my face every now and then. He's like, oh, who wanted a private school? Because things have happened throughout the years that I say, thank God that they go to a private school, because if it was a public school, such and such would have happened. So I think that's probably, just in general, I'm just surprised at how happy I am and how I don't regret my decision at all. I think that's probably it. I think inclusivity is the big one. Innovation is a big one. I think the main value, or I guess mission of the school, is to prepare the kids for the future, prepare the kids for the type of world that we live in. Um, uh, it's not just a now situation. It's, yeah, we're teaching the kids now, we're teaching them reading and writing and such, but we're also teaching them financial literacy. We're also teaching them about the world, about fundraising, about how to take care of, like, be a global citizen. I think that's the main thing, is that they want their students to leave the Giles and be better people than they were coming into the Giles. Um, so that's the feeling that I get. Really down to earth, very involved into the school. As much as they can, I think parents are very invested in the school. The parents at Giles are very invested, not only in their kids' education, but in the school in general. We want to do everything we can to make the school a better school, to give our kids everything that they need at the school. Um, Everybody knows each other. Like I always say, it's like a community. So I think they're all very like-minded, um, very welcoming, kind. Uh, yeah, I don't know if I'm answering. Am I answering the question properly? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, everybody is I think the reason why it attracts the type of people that it does is, like I said before, the building is unassuming. So I find that a lot of people send their kids to private school because they want to say, "Yo, my kid goes to such and such school," like bragging rights type of thing. But I find that for our school, because it's a small school, it's like I said, it's unassuming. I think people send their kids there just because they want their kids to have a good education. So all of that other stuff doesn't matter. They want their kids to be well taken care of. They want them to be educated, and because of that, everybody gets along quite well. Whether it's people from different backgrounds, different socioeconomic standards, everybody gets along. So there's diversity within the school, but then there's also this common goal of, you know, let's give our kids the best education that we possibly can. And we do a lot of uh, events within the school. Obviously, we haven't in the past year and a half or so, but we constantly have things going on. And like I said before, parents are very involved in the school. So any sort of extracurricular stuff that's happening, it's the parents who are doing things. So we would have Monday morning coffees. So a couple of the parents would get coffee and snacks for the kids. And in the morning, when the kids would come into school, they would all line up. They'd get their hot chocolate. The parents would get their hot coffees. Everybody would stand around and talk. And that's how we got to know each other. Our kids might not be in the same classrooms, but this is how people got to know each other. So there was a lot of events like that happening. We have this huge benefit of community that unfortunately this year a lot of people aren't able to witness, but hopefully it'll come, and they will. Yeah, well, we have science fairs, we have robotics classes. My son has participated in a couple of science fairs and he's done well. So after his first year where he did well, he was very excited about the following year. So then you spent the whole year thinking about possible science experiments to do. um, they have like art competitions, just things like that, whether or not they place first, second, third, whatever it is, they love participating in. So I think that's probably some of the stuff that I'm most proud of: speech competitions, things like that. So I guess I'll start with the administration. When I first started at the Giles, it took a little bit of time to get to know the admin, just to kind of get a feel for the lay of the land type of thing. But I know the administration, the principal, the vice principal, administrative assistants, the people who do finances. Again, because it's a small school, it's a community school. You know everybody. You see them all the time. It's not like a locked door where the principal sits and doesn't see anybody. The principal is outside, welcomes the kids in the mornings, uh, is outside during recess time, just very open doors for everybody. So I've had great experiences with them. If there's ever any issues, I find that they're very open. At any given time, if you need a meeting, you make a meeting, you speak. It, they're open to suggestions. I'm part of the parent association, so if there's ever anything that, sometimes we brainstorm ideas for different things throughout the school. And I find that with the admin, they're very. It's not like I'm the boss and what I say goes. If there's an idea and we say, oh, I don't know if it's going to work so well. Okay, no problem. They're very open and supportive, and very very much so want us involved in the school, because I think they see the value in that. And then in terms of the teachers, like I said, like I couldn't say enough about the teachers. The One of the greatest things that I find with the school is that you're in constant communication with the teachers. You never have to worry, especially now that the kids are online. Um, Sometimes things get lost and there's so much confusion going on in terms of tech, and like one kid is upstairs doing their work and one kid is downstairs doing their work, and it's not the usual routine for us. You never have to worry, is my kid doing okay? Is he doing his homework? Is she concentrating in class, or is she like in her room playing? Because like I have full confidence that the teachers at any time will email me, will call me, will let me know if there's any problems. When we have parent teacher interviews, I barely have anything to say because we have so much communication throughout the year that there's not much left to say. So I think that that openness to speak at all times, to see each other at any given time, I think it's a big benefit, and I think it's one of the greatest assets of the school. 100%, I recommend the Giles School. I wouldn't be there if I didn't. And I plan to send two more kids there after, as they get older. So yeah, I 100% recommend the Giles School. The three biggest reasons, I think, one would be the language, because it is a French school. It's astounding how quickly the kids learn French. My level of French is like from high school or junior high school. So by grade one, they surpassed me, and I was like, "All right, you're on your own with this one." So it's amazing when you see your second grader speaking fluent in another language that we don't speak at home. So I think that's number one. Number two, again, because I think the teachers at the Giles School are very heavily invested in what they do, and the kids at the school, in the school in general. And there's there's so much benefit in that can't be met in other ways. Like there's it's just so great to have such caring teachers. And then the third reason would probably be because it gives you, the Giles School has the benefit of being a small private school while also being very down to earth and very welcoming and very inclusive and diverse, and which I find is sometimes hard to find with private schools. And you don't get that feeling when you walk into the Giles School and you look inside the classrooms and you see the teachers, you see the admin. You don't get that feeling, no matter where you're from or what you look like. You never feel like you don't belong, because there's going to be a wide array of people at the Giles, and I think those are some of the reasons why I would recommend it. Maybe be a little bit more open-minded. I think I was in seeing certain schools, I think I was a little judgmental. Because like I said earlier, like I didn't want private school, I wanted public school. And so um, I went in looking for reasons why not to send my kids to private school. So I think maybe be a little bit more open-minded and think more about the future, not just, because when I was looking for schools, my son was 3.5. So not just think about, JK or SK, grade 1, grade 2, but think about the future grades as well. Like, how long is my child going to be able to be at the school? What's going to be the plans for after the school? I think that would probably be it.
For more information about this school, you can visit their profile at ourkids.net.